Alright, hello Reddit, hello YouTube, my name is Bishop. I'm going to do a Dredmor Let's Play series. Um, I'm gonna make this a series because of course playing Dredmor takes a lot of time, and I intend to do this first part as an introduction. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about myself, about the game. I'm going to talk a lot, and I'm going to use this actually as a test run because I have never done a recording before. I have experimented for the last half day or so with a different software, and this is gonna be my first real recording. I'm gonna let it run for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or a half an hour or something, and then we're gonna see out how this plays out. Well, um, this is actually how it first started. You see the Reddit page where everything began. Somebody asked 2 weeks ago or so if there was a let's play by a high skill player, and I'm this guy here, and I was saying, yeah, maybe I could do one, but I don't know if I count it as high skill player. And yes, if I can maybe pull my Steam profile up, and yes, I have played for about 500 hours in the last 2 years or so. I don't know how long this game has been out exactly. So basically, and the guy says, yeah, of course, if you like, you can do a let's play. And I've been saying, yeah, it's all about how you play the game. It's about what you know about the game. It's not so much how you actually play it. But I'm gonna give it a try anyhow. But as I said, this first recording is mostly gonna be about talking. I'm gonna do this as a podcast. I'm gonna talk a lot. I'm not going to show a lot today, I think. But I think I'm going to quit the game and quit the podcast with the skill set that I intend to play this playthrough that I'm going to record in several parts. I have actually played this skill set before. I have died on floor 12 or so, and mostly because I was distracted, and I've been running around in a cloud of something I didn't have enough resistance over, and I stupidly died. I hope this will not happen to me this time, but we'll see. Anyhow, I should now probably talk a little bit about Dredmor. Before I do that, however, I'm going to say, to show you all the Dredmorpedia. This is a page, this is the URL here. This is a page that I always have opened when I'm playing Dredmor. I'm always playing around here. I'm mostly in the skill sections and looking around and figuring stuff out and looking up craft recipes or something. And this is where I spend most of my time actually. And this is a very important page, and you should always have it open and play and look at it while playing. I also have Dredmor open, of course, but this is not as important, of course, today. So, about Dredmor. Dredmor, you can of course look up different let's plays. I guess everyone has done this. I personally think I learned about Dredmor from a friend who showed me the let's play by Total Biscuit. I do hope that Total Biscuit did a let's play about on Dredmor. I think he did. Anyhow, this was the video of us also first, I think. And then I bought it, and I've been playing ever since, on and off. So I'm not gonna actually do a simple introduction into Dredmor itself, how it's played and what it's about, because I think this is something that other people have been covering very well. So I'm going to go in and address people that have been playing the game for a longer time and know what they're doing essentially. So let me say a few words about my philosophy or my fascination about playing Dredmor while I've been doing this for such a long time. As I said in the thread, actually, Um, in the thread here, I've been naming a few reasons why I've been doing this. I do like. It was my first roguelike, and I was very fascinated by it. And Dredmor gives you also the opportunity to do a lot of research and a lot of fiddling around, and because you have about, I don't know, there's like 30 or 40 skills, different skills, and every skill gives you like from 5 to 8 or so levels, which all give you different abilities. So the character building phase is extremely important, and it's very important, or it's very effective if you think about what you want to do, and if you think long and hard about your skill set, about what your character is going to be like, how you're going to play the game. And since this possibility space is very large, because you have 7 skills and there are 40 skills to choose from, there are a lot of possibilities. And even if you say, okay, if you fixate on a single skill set, you can still play the game differently. So this is maybe what fascinates me the most. I like to play the game, and I like to research the best possible character, I think, in any given constraint. And as I've been saying else in the thread, it's people have found out that magic was long broken. Especially it was this pyromancy, the Promethean magic skill tree was very effective. And especially what you basically did was, because it gave you a Vermling that's very strong. You can reach it by level 2 or something, or level 3, and it gives you resistances, and it gives you the obvious fireball. And this is the fireball was so strong, mainly because it scales with your magic, and not badly with your magic. That if you gain a lot of magic power, a lot of, I don't even know how they call it. It's called magic power. Yeah. If you gather like 50 magic power or something, and you get enough mana regeneration, you can blast your way through until Dredmor. This is no longer the case, because the fireball has been massively nerfed. But even now it is possible. Magic is still very strong. It is possible to play magic characters that play. They're squishy in that they have little HP, so you have to play very slowly and very carefully. But once you do that, you can almost do anything, and you can reach Dredmor, and you can do disgusting stuff, because you can summon shit, and you can cast you can cast stuff on Dredmor and everything. This is something I have read about. I have actually never played a magic character myself, but if you read the forums, it doesn't matter if you read Reddit, or if you read the official Reddit, the official Dredmor forum on the Gaslamp website. They all been saying that magic abilities are very strong. So this was something I was never interested in. I was always more the melee kind of guy, and of course, if you're playing a melee character, you have always like the decision to make. Do I want to be more the, let's say, DPS kind of guy? Do I want to have maximum damage, so that it takes me as little hits as possible to kill any given enemy? Or do I want to be um, the tanky kind of guy, the guy that says, I don't care if I'm going to kill, I'm going to get to take 1 or 2 or 10 hits to kill a creep or a monster, because that monster can't hurt me anyhow, or I'm going to regenerate enough so that I don't care if I'm gonna get hurt. And the thing is that um, playing Dredmor requires you um, to pick a strategy to stick to it, because you only have 7 slots, and doing a hybrid kind of thing almost never plays out in my experience. What I have found is that it's a lot better to pick a strategy and just stick to it, even if you think that something else would complement it nicely. But in that case, you'd have to give up other stuff. For example, I don't know. Maybe if I pull up Dredmor, I can do some exemplatory skill sets. Let's say I'd go for a DPS only build, and I'd go for maybe of course I'd go dual wielding, and maybe I would pick the Berserker Rage, although the Berserker Rage would require me to be long in a state where I'm hitting things, where actually I want to play in a way that tells me that says that I do a lot of damage in a few hits. So maybe Berserker Rage is not the right stuff, not the right case. And I would maybe do something like Assassination, but Assassination only works well if I also have a high sneaky skill, and high sneaky skills means high agility, so I'd like to do like Artful Dodger, and then maybe I'd like to do a Burglary, because Burglary is a great skill, and I would maybe do something like from here. And for example, is Killer Vegan is a great skill, but that means that I need to have a way to kill animal type creatures in non melee ways. So I'd need kind of either I'm gonna have something ranged. Either I'm going to do archery or thrown weaponry, and now I have to think about having enough ammunition, and ammunition means mostly that I need to craft things, and then I need to go to do either tinkering for arrows, or I need to do smithing for throwing weapons. And you see, this is all going to get very complicated, and the latest here, I'm going to need to start a compromise, and I say, oh, maybe I don't need Killer Vegan, maybe I want something else, maybe I want to do, for example, this one skill, what was it? Maybe I want to do the Warlockery skill, because it's very great, but it also needs wants to have a high magic or mana ability, magic power or mana ability. So I want to have something like that is magic, but also it deals primarily damage. And I don't know what I would pick there. Maybe I don't know, like I really don't know. Maybe I would do something like psionics for health, or I'm going to do Viking wizardry because it gives me the auras, and there are lots of aura astrology. I don't know. There are hundreds of possibilities, and you see, you need to think a long time before you decide on a proper skill set. And this is also why I never random. If you start randoming, you're gonna end up with something, and then there's gonna be skills that mostly are not going to complement each other. There's gonna be little synergies, and this is all just going to go down the drain. So I never random. I always think for days or so what kind of character I want to play, and then I'm gonna try them out, and I'm going to find out if they work out or not. So this has been about it. And again, there has been this discussion. It was actually I was talking about it. I was just responding to the guy today. It was here. There was this guy, and and he's been saying that he's still been playing a lot and everything, and that he's been playing mostly a guy that does dual wielding and picks a weapon skill. And that, of course, means that you do maximum damage because you have two weapons, and weapons get very strong. And this is, of course, you're gonna double your damage. You can do easily about maybe 150 or 200 damage per hit. This is easily possible in the later stages. And he says he mostly goes the route where he tries to deal as much damage as possible, and for defense he relies mostly on countering. And countering is one of the three ways, or let's say damage modifications that you can do for defense. I mean, you all know this. If you get hit by a monster, there's first a chance that you dodge the attack. If you don't dodge it, you can still have a chance to counter it. If you don't counter it, you still have a chance to block it, and so on. Actually, I'm not sure if countering or dodging comes first. Doesn't matter. Anywho, what this of course means is that dodging an attack does nothing. Countering an attack lets you hit instead the monster, and is of course very strong. And blocking halves the damage, all of the damage. That's very important. It's also blocking also halves the non-standard like ethereal or so damage that you get. And by nowadays countering is very strong and dodging is also very strong. It used to be that countering, that if the monster did a critical hit, that you couldn't dodge and you couldn't counter it, and this was very, very devastating, especially because the problem was that mostly the boss monsters had a high chance of crit, of course, and that often meant that you ran with your rogue type of hero, you ran into such a monster, and you tried to melee him, and he gave you a crit, and then you simply died because you couldn't do anything. You just took the double of the damage that you would normally take to the face, and you couldn't do anything about it. And this has been revised in the manner that now crits for if you crit, or if the monster does critical damage and you counter it, then you won't hit back, but you still don't get any damage yourself. So it is actually the case that by now, or nowadays, it is a viable playstyle to focus on countering. And as the guy in the Reddit thread said, that he was picking swords, and sword gives you countering here and here and here and here as a normal modifier, or something you're gonna have forever. And then you're having buffs that buff your crit. Well, this is not one of them, but here you get a 20% chance to get a 16 bonus crit or a counter percentage. That's a lot, because you get from the swords alone you get 2, 4, 6, and 10. So you get 10, and because he took dual wielding, he got 20. Because if you equip a sword, you get each bonus individually. If you equip 2 swords, so with 2 swords he gets 20 points of counter just from the sword skill, and then he gets an additional 16 from this buff here. Not always, mind you. And then you get from the dual wielding itself, where is it? World winning is here. You get another 3 to 10. That's like 15. So we are by now 20 plus 15 is like 35. Plus another 16 maybe. That's like a little bit about above 50. And then you get another 3 here and another up to 10 here. So that amounts to something, I don't know, like 60 or 65 points of countering just from these two skills. And the rest you get from your normal attributes, because you've, of course, I don't know exactly, I think here counter I think counter comes from caddishness. Yeah, exactly. Counter comes from caddishness, and you get caddishness as you level up, and etc. And you get, of course, you can get items that boost caddishness and everything. So it is possible to have close to 100 counter percentage or even more. But this again depends on a few things, because for example, you can't have if you want to raise caddishness, you're gonna have to rely a lot on rogue stats. That means you get fewer HP, because for HP you need to rely on to have a lot of warrior stats, so you level up, and you're gonna have fewer HP that you could have, and you can also not always and nimbleness also depends on counter attacks, and this is the bigger problem, because almost any good armor relies on a nimbleness malus. I'm sure you all know this. If I go here, for example, any good armor gets a more or less heavy malus to the nimbleness. Here is -3, here is -4, here is -10, etc. So if you're playing the kind of hero or the kind of character that, what's this guy called? It's the annexes, whatever. That he proposes, you need to deal with this. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm quite sure that it's possible. He said so. But this playstyle does have its disadvantages, and of course, but it's of course very fun. I've played these types of heroes before, and it's very fun to run around with a very high counter chance and having a dual sword weapon. I don't know, like here something very strong, and just hit for 200 damage and then watch everything crumble. It's very fun. However, this is not the playstyle I found the most, how do I put this, the most safe one maybe, because as the guy said, the annexer said that you have a huge problem with magic damage and projectiles, and with a tanky type of hero, you just swallow this magic damage, and you say, I don't care, I have a lot of resistances, I have a lot of HP, and if I get a hit with a projectile once in a while, I'm not gonna care, because this does not enough damage to me, so I'm just gonna ignore it. This is probably not something that you can do with such a DPS type of hero. And as you may be aware, I'm more the kind of guy that plays the tanky heroes, and this is also the type of hero I want to play with you in this Let's Play. I'm going to focus on a hero that's going to be very tanky, that's going to have almost every defense-based skill there is, and I'm going to focus on a build that has a lot of HP, that generates a lot of HP, or has a lot of skills that boost my HP, additionally to them being warrior skills. And I'm also going to focus on my blocking. I'm going to build a hero that generates a huge blocking stat, and preferably even over 100, because I'm going to use skills that benefit from a high blocking block skill. And I'm going to use a hero that focuses on a lot of various resistances, and I'm going to build him in a way, or search for equipment that gives me a lot of resistances over everything. And I'm going to disregard that I'm going to give up damage for it, and I'm going to also disregard that I'm probably gonna have very little magic power, so I can't use a lot of magic, and I'm going to have almost non-existent dodging or counter or crits. So that's gonna mean that if I'm in a monster zoo or something, or if I'm facing a lot of monsters, that it's going to take me a pretty long while until they're all down. But this is something I want to play, and this is something I can live with, because this is all part of my plan. So let's start maybe about this. I'm going to kill all of these skills, and I'm going to now pick my skills that I'm going to play today, or in the next series, if this video generates enough interest for me to continue. And here's of course what I want to do. I want to have, as I said, I want to have a lot of HP, I want to have a lot of resistances, and I want to have a lot of blocking. So of course I want to pick the shield bearer and the master of arms. It's a very trivial choice, of course. This is yeah, as I said, they both give me excellent buffs that give me life regeneration and give me additional blocking or armor, or give me additional XP. And this is all very great, and I want to have it, and I want to have this. Furthermore, I want also to have the battle geology skill, and here this is because let's go back to the Dredmorpedia. If we go to the blocking skill, to the battle geology skill, this is something I'm going to use at first, but then I'm going to this buff here. I'm going to use this because in the beginning I'm not gonna have any significant crit or counter stats anyhow, but I can use the +5 damage, but afterwards it's gonna be relevant. Here I'm gonna have a lot of resistances early on, and in here, and I'm going to get blocking. This is something that's very interesting. This is something that gives me a very interesting buff. If I'm this ability has a cooldown, but 12 turns is not a lot, and it gives me the stunned buff, or the stun buff for the monster. And this is very interesting, and I want to have this. I'm going to use this a lot, especially against boss monsters. And I also get a melee attack buff, so this ability gives me also a damage buff that scales very nicely with my melee damage. So and my melee damage is going to go up just because of my burliness, and this is going to be more or less high, so I can do maybe another, let's say 30 to 50 damage just from this skill here. And this is a very useful skill, especially early on. And then again, I'm gonna get here, um, again some resistances, and I'm going to get here a very nice buff that gives me a resistance. And I'm gonna have to be careful about this because it only lasts for 7 turns or 4 hits. So this is something I want to use against a also against a boss monster, because it gives me that's pretty a lot. That's quite a lot of resistances that I can get, especially early on, for example. And in the later parts, this is something that's going to contribute to my overall defense. And this also has this nice battle skin effect. This is something that scales with my blocking, so I want to do as much blocking as to have a very large blocking stat. So this is gonna get me another, let's say, if I have blocking of 100, this is gonna give me another 20 damage of an attack. Of course, this is gonna be crushing damage, and every monster is resistant to crushing at to some degree, but everything stacks and everything counts. And I'm actually not sure if I'm going to skill these two, because petrification is something I'm not quite fond of, and I did skill it last time when I played it, and this can basically be used as a skill that gives me time, basically, because the thing is that if I do petrification on myself, then I can move for 15 turns, I think, or 14. I think it's 14 turns. Yeah, 14 turns. If I'm going to do this on myself, I can't move for 14 turns, and this is, for example, gives me if I eat something, then this is simply giving me 14 HP, because in the meantime almost no monster can damage me with this, and I don't get these debuffs because they don't count on myself. And on the other side, if I cast a petrification on another monster, I can't hurt them anymore for the 14 turns, because these are very high resistances. I'm probably not gonna have anything that goes through these, and so I just have 14 turns to do something. But this, of course, this can be very useful, but this is something if I'm going to skill this, I'm going to skill this pretty late, because I'm going to prioritize other stuff before this. So as I said, I want to pick the battle geology. I also want to pick the Clockwork Knight skill, and this is mostly because of the teleports. Because when you play Dredmor, you always need to have a way of vanishing, of going away. And this is basically achieved by two means. You either have a skill that teleports yourself, or you have a skill that gives you invisibility and reliably. And this is also a reason for why a lot of people are very fond of the burglary skill tree, because burglary gives you both. Burglary gives you a teleport here and gives you a invis skill here, and this is oftentimes very interesting. I'm not gonna pick burglary. I do like the skill a lot, but in this case I'm going to neglect it, because actually I don't quite think that it does. This is a purely defensive escape skill, but it does not do a lot for my, let's say, overall survivability, because it does give me two skills or two abilities when I need to get out from somewhere, but it does not enhance my character so that I can be better at later or deeper stages of the game. So this is something I do not want to invest skill points in, because I want to get as fat as possible. And again, the Clockwork Knight gives me, it does not give me any resistances. It gives me some um, smithing and tinkering points. I'm going to disregard those as well. Um, but I'm very interested in the abilities that the skill tree gives me, and most importantly, I'm interested in this one, because this one gives me this again the very valuable stunned buff or debuff for the enemy, and it also gives me a pretty strong melee buff if I need to do a lot of damage against a boss monster, and it also knocks back. So if I need some space, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this skill to bring away a monster, a boss monster, for myself. And I'm also very interested in these three skills: in the rocket jump, in the mecha stomp, and in the if I get to it in this last skill. And these all are teleport skills, and they not only do they teleport you, but they also do damage, and they do damage differently. For example, the rocket jump damages the area of where you have been starting and where you finish your jump. It's gonna damage both of these areas, and the mecha stomps damages the area where you land, and so does the charge here. And actually, this is something. This does a lot of damage to a pretty large surrounding area. I have tried this skill on a monster zoo at floor I think 11 or 12, and it wiped out like 15 monsters or so in just this one skill. It was amazing. So this is a skill that I'm very interested in, because it does give me it gives me a an out, but it also does damage, and it gives me mobility. And as you're gonna see later in my later videos, I'm going to use these abilities quite a bit. I'm going to do a little damage, and I'm going to rocket jump away. Then I'm going to do maybe some range damage or heal up more. And so I'm going in this way I'm going to control the battlefield, if you will. So I'm going to pick the Clockwork Knight, and then I'm also going to want to pick the Berserker Rage skill. And as you all know, Berserker Rage is a very often people say it's a beginner skill, because it simply gives you buffs. It doesn't do anything fancy. It simply gives you per level a chance for a buff that stacks. And but this is something I'm interested here, and this is mostly because this hero is a hero that's going to stand a lot and to simply hit a lot and getting hit a lot. And as you can see here, the Berserker skill is something it gives you three abilities, 1, 2, 3 abilities or buffs, and they all stack, and they all stack 3 times, or again 3, and okay, they're all stacking 3 times separately, and they all gives you a pretty nice defense stats, but also burliness or melee damage. And this is something I can use if I for example do rocket jumps or something. And this here gives you also nice defense resistances. And the thing is that I can use these skills to its maximum, because it's only very strong, or let's say the the maximum output of the damage that or the resistance that it generates is only achieved if you're getting hit a lot for a long time. But this is something I intend to do. I'm going to stand a lot, and I'm going to get hit a lot. I'm going to hit a lot myself, because every hit is going to deal relatively low damage. So I'm going to get the most out of the Berserk skill. And these are the skills. And what I'm going to do next is actually I'm going to pick two magic skills next. And this is what makes this hero so special or so different. And what I'm going to do is, if you notice from the shield bearer and the master of arms skill, I'm gonna have a lot of I don't know what it's called. It's this life regen stat, and oftentimes it's going to be that I'm going to have like 30 or 40 of this stat. And what is of course, you know, the stat, what it does is it determines how long it takes until you regenerate your next life point. But normally you do it every 8 turns, I think, or every 12. I think it might be 12, I don't know. But even if you have like 30, it doesn't help you any better than if you had like, say, 13. So so this would be normally a waste, because you get your life regen stat up from here. You get it a lot of them from here, because you get 10 per stack, and so you can easily get 30 of this stat simply from this ability alone. And this doesn't give you any, but the shield bearer's stat gives also here and here again 8 of the life regen stat. And this would be a waste if you use it normally, because as I said, you're gonna you can only utilize 13. It's not gonna matter if you have more than 13 of this skill. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pick vampirism, and this is of course a very tough decision, and it has to be carefully planned, because of course having this it changes massively the way you have to play the game. Because for instance, the most obvious thing is that you can't eat anything anymore. You can't eat anything, and you can't you have to find another way to regenerate your life or your health. And the thing is, of course, because I'm choosing is I'm going to use this for the first ability for this vampirism, because since I don't know how long, it's not that long. It has been a recent patch. You regenerate. It used to be the way that you used to life leech based on your magic power, and since I don't know, like 2 patches ago or so, you leech life from your regen life stat. And this is something, it's not game breaking per se, because as you see, it only drains life from demons, others, and animals, and there are a lot more types than that, for example like constructs or something, and undead. And especially you need to think what you're going to do against Dredmor, and especially against Vladigula, because Vladigula does not have the type animal. It is or demon. It has the type demon prince or Diggle prince, so it's not going you can't life leech from him. But so you have to think about something else here. But in most other circumstances, it is a very strong skill, and once you progress down the shield bearer and the master of arms skill lines, you're going to leech a lot of health back from these 3 types. So basically you only have to worry about the types, or you have to avoid the situation where you fight against a lot of um, non-demon or non-others or non-animals types of monsters, and um, you have few resistances against the damage that they do. But this is something that almost never happens. So you have to play a little cleverly, but it's worth it. And of course, later on you can use the. I'm also gonna skill pretty quickly this skill, because it gives me it regenerates my health. As I said, because I am mostly a warrior type, my magic power is going to be pretty low. Um, but this is not that bad, because even if I regenerate, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 health per instance, it's okay. This is only something that I need after I'm done clearing out a room. So I'm going to rely on my high HP and on my life drain um, to to keep me alive in a fight. And after the fight is over, I'm going to regenerate from the corpses lying around. Um, the life, if I have for some reason low life. So this is why I'm picking vampirism, because it serves both purposes. Um, it keeps me alive in a fight, and it gives me a possibility to restore life after the fight is over, and I don't have to spend any resources on it other than time. But time is doesn't matter. So I'm going to pick the vampirism skill, and and the other skill I'm going to pick is it's another wizard skill, and I'm going to do flash smithing. And flash smithing is the most defense based skill of them all. No, not of them all, but as a if you're a warrior, and if you like to take a little magic, because otherwise it would be like something, it would be like a waste of space, because otherwise if you don't have any means to spend the mana you have, or to utilize the magic power that you have, that you don't utilize the game to its fullest, and you don't utilize the potential of a hero to the fullest. I'm not saying that you should um, um, that you should focus on wizarding, or do like both, and look and play a hero that utilizes both his health or his defense and his mana. But this is going to be a hero that relies mostly on his natural defenses, and but also utilizes the little mana that he has and the little magic power that he has. And again, because why do I want the flash smithing? I want flash smithing because it normally people play it or are very happy about the zombification skill. It gives you pretty early some creeps, some followers, or some how the World of Warcraft guys say, it's a familiar or something, or a but this is actually not something that this hero needs to rely about, because he's going to be very strong in the early levels. Actually, it's going to be a hero that is never going to be weak in any level. This is pretty nice actually. And the flash smithing skill also gives you HP, life. So this is pretty great, even if it's only 3 points, but still it's 3 points, or 3 extra points. And it also gives you the here a little bit of stats. And the abilities that I am interested in are this knit tissue, which gives me regen. And again, this is actually a skill that scales with magic power, and I'm not going to have a lot of magic power probably. It also of course it all of course depends massively on the loot that I find. If I find a great stuff, for example, it can easily give me 5 to 10 magic points. So suddenly I'm going to have 20 magic points or something, but this is not something I can rely on. But even in the worst case scenario, this is a skill that gives me 6 health back. And depending on my mana pool and depending on my savvy skill, my stabby attribute, this is going to cost me a little mana if I'm lucky. So this is something I want to have. And later on, I also gonna want to have this meat shield here. It's actually not that important, but for one thing, it's very nice to have these extra blasting and crushing defense. And the 3 Berliners don't hurt because they give me health, and the 10 extra health are also great. And I also get the 3 life regen stats that will benefit my vampirism skill. So this is also something I want to pick. And this is of course this is gonna be the skill set. And I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go here. I'm going to give it a name, and let's call it simply I don't know. Actually, I'm actually not the kind of guy that gives very elaborate names. So I'm just going to call it Baum, and Baum is German and means tree, because I'm going to be thick as a tree. And blah blah blah. And I'm going to start here. And as you can see, this is my starting equipment. I'm not gonna need the food, so I can pull this out. I can give this away. I'm also not gonna need the leather cuirass, so I can also put this away if I like. If you notice, I don't have any weapons because I didn't pick a weapon skill, but I'm going to rely on anything that I find. And I can activate this Plutonic Fist because suddenly that gives me +5 melee damage, thus giving me a weapon more or less. Because a weapon on the lower levels mostly gives you like 5 damage or so, unless it's an artifact. And I do have a pretty nice breastplate, and here a shield. So these are my stats, and I'm going to stop recording now, and we're going to start next time and going from there. Alright, then I hope you liked it, and since I'm going to post this video on Reddit, we can discuss what you thought about it there, I think. Alright, bye bye.